My parents gave my brother the house I paid for. I found out my parents had given my brother the house I'd been paying for when my mother accidentally sent me the wrong text. She meant to send it to my brother. It said, "Don't tell him yet, he'll make a scene." I stared at the message for almost a minute. Then I called her. She didn't answer. So I called my dad. He answered immediately. I asked him what the message meant. There was a long silence. Then he finally said, "We need to talk. For the past 6 years, I've been paying the mortgage on my parents' old house. When they retired, they moved to another city. My younger brother stayed in the house. He had a difficult few years and couldn't afford rent, so my parents asked me if I could take over the mortgage temporarily. I agreed. Temporary became 6 years. Every month I paid the mortgage, property taxes, repairs and insurance. My brother contributed almost nothing. Whenever I complained, my parents reminded me that he was struggling. "He's your brother." So I kept helping. Then my dad told me they'd decided to transfer the house to my brother. I thought he was joking. I reminded him that I'd paid for years. He said the payments were my contribution to the family. I couldn't believe it. I asked why nobody had discussed this with me. My dad said, "Because we knew you'd say no." That sentence hurt more than anything. I stopped talking to them. A week later, my brother called me. He wasn't angry. He sounded scared. He asked me to meet him privately. When we sat down, he told me something I didn't know. The house wasn't actually worth what my parents had told me. There was a massive unpaid loan against it. My parents had taken it out years earlier without telling me. The mortgage payments I'd been making weren't the only debt attached to the property. There were also unpaid taxes and legal fees. My brother had discovered the documents while trying to transfer the house into his name. Then he asked me something that made my stomach drop. "Did Mom and Dad ever tell you the house was completely paid off?" I said yes. He shook his head. They lied. Apparently my parents hadn't given my brother a valuable house. They had given him a mountain of debt. And suddenly their secret message made sense. They weren't afraid I'd make a scene because they were giving my brother the house. They were afraid I'd discover the debt. My brother refused the inheritance. My parents were furious with both of us. For the first time in 6 years, I stopped sending them money. A month later, the house was sold. After the debts were paid, there was almost nothing left. My parents lost the house. My brother moved into an apartment, and I finally realized something I'd refused to admit for years. I wasn't helping my family. I was being used to keep their problems hidden. I still speak to my brother, my parents, not anymore. The strangest part is that my mother still tells relatives that I abandoned my family. She never tells them why. She just says one thing: "We only asked him to help." And maybe that's what hurts the most.